Very good morning, everyone. Jeremy here on strategic.com.sg and market recap of the Straits Times Index, the week ending of 16th of April 2021. As you can see, the charts for the Straits Times Index all look very bullish from the short term all the way to the longer term charts. And we closed at 3201 last Friday. The upside targets for the Straits Times Index will be the last high at 3406 that was made on the 1st of April 2019, and thereafter 3664, which was actually made on the 1st of April 2018. All right, so these are the targets that are upcoming, 3406 and 3664, if the SDI continues on in its current projection. So looking forward on the monthly charts, if you have noticed from 1993 to about 2005, it was a 12-year period where the Straits Times Index was going through a consolidation, and essentially it broke out from the consolidation, and just before the Lehman collapse, the STI hit a all-time high of around 3,880 points, and then during the Lehman collapse, it actually plunged to about 1,512. Moving forward from the period of 2012 to currently 2021, we are sort of seeing a same pattern that's being repeated, a lot of consolidation for almost 10 to 12 years. And if we are able to hit our targets 3406 and surpass the last high that was formed in 2018, perhaps you can see a continuation beyond, and the STI might be able to break out of this tight trading range and make higher highs. And this is on the assumption that the technicals remain bullish, just like it is now for the Straits Times Index. So continuing on with the Straits Times Index, on the right-hand side, you can see the weekly charts of the SDI, and a very nice bullish picture. And the long signal was actually issued last year on the 7th of November 2020, which was at a level of 2693 long to target 3411. All right, so currently we have closed at 3201, and the trend is still looking extremely strong. And the STI, as you can see from the weekly chart, is still trading above its Tenkan line, which is the fast moving average at 3045, above its pivot at 3000 points. And this action, if it continues, then we will be able to sustain and make a break for 3406. And also take note that on the weekly charts, the Straits Times Index is trading above the Ichimoku cloud, and the cloud line right now is comfortably just below the pivot line at 3000, somewhere at about 2820. And on the left hand side of the screen, you can see the daily chart for the Straits Times Index. Same picture, bullish. The long signal was issued at 2964, and the target was at 3108. We have broken and reached our target, and currently at 3201, we are trading very comfortably above the pivot point of 3131. And finally, on the 4-hourly charts on the left hand side, you can see that the long signal issued on 25th of February at the level of 3923 is still on target and above its pivot point at 3159. So all multiple time frame bullishness for the Straits Times Index, and we expect higher highs for the Straits Times Index as long as the pivot of 3159 is held, or the pivot at the daily's chart, which is 3131, is held to the upside. And all these levels will be issued and covered on my blog on coinstrategic.com.sg, and after this video, you will look forward to see the levels on the website. So for the Straits Times Index, to sum it all up, long-term trend is uptrend targeting 3406, which was the last high that was hit about 2 years back. On the medium-term charts, uptrend with a pivot support at 3,000 points. And short-term wise on the dailies chart, important pivot of 3131, which is a level that we're watching on short term. And even on a shorter term chart on the 4-hourly chart, the pivot is 3159. As long as all these pivots are held, we're going to expect more higher highs for the Straits Times Index moving forward. Now, for all of you, when you go to my website, you'll be able to see the Straits Times Trading Index is on my webpage, and under the metrics, there will be an updated chart every week and the time that was issued. And once you open up that chart, you will be able to see all the component stocks of the Straits Times Index, and they are classified in terms of banks, properties, REITs, heavyweights by weightage, and uptrending stocks. All right, so the important levels to watch will be highlighted in this block as well. So starting with the first stock that is in a multiple time frame uptrend, which is covered in the metrics, is CAPITALAND. So CAPITALAND has actually broken out of its long-term down trend, and the long signal was issued at $3.60 on the 1st of March 2021 this year, and the immediate target is $4.60, which was the breakdown level in 2008 prior to the Lehman crash, and 460 is the immediate target, and the all-time high was $7.27. And on a short-term basis for CAPITALAND, the long signal was issued at a level of $3.25 on the 9th of March this year, targeting $3.63. That target has been hit with this particular gap up during the release of the news flow, and it's currently closed at $3.76, and the pivot point to watch is $3.63. The stock is very bullish at the moment, and as long as it remains above the pivot of 363, you can expect higher highs. All right, moving down to the next stock, Singapore Airlines. As you can see from the chart, currently it has been on a downtrend since 2015 August at a level of $7.05, and it actually closed at a all-time low at $3.20 during the peak of the pandemic. It has now recovered and broken out of its long-term downtrend with a long signal at $5.45 on the 15th of March this year, and the target right now remains to be at $7.05, which is also the breakdown level that was issued way back in 2015, and that level has to be broken for SIA to gain any more traction to its next target, which is around $8.65, assuming the uptrend remains. However, on the shorter term charts, there's a bit of profit taking for Singapore Airlines shares. Currently, there is a short signal at a level of $5.45 on the 15th of April 2021, targeting $4.88, which is actually the Tenkan line on the weekly charts. All right, so a little bit of short-term weakness as it pulls back to 488 in the short term. And similarly for Singapore Airlines, on the 4-hourly charts, the short signal was issued at the $5.60 level on the 12th of April, targeting 488, and we are now expecting a pivot point at $5.49, and this pivot has to be broken back to the upside for SIA to gain traction in the short term. So for Singapore Airlines shares, long term, it has started to resume its uptrend to target $7.05 on both the long term and the medium term basis, and on the short term basis, it's now undergoing a little bit of weakness with selling since the 12th of April 2021, and an important level that we're going to take note of is the pivot at $5.69 as well as $5.49 we need to break back to the upside for the uptrend to continue. Otherwise, we will be trying to test this level at $5.05 on the weekly charts. Moving on to DBS Bank. DBS Bank all-time high is at $31.27. Long signal issued at 26.75 on a monthly chart, targeting 28.69, which is the next high that was made in 2019 at this level. And if we can break through this level, which we have done already last week, we might be able to make our way to the all-time high of $31.27. And looking at the DBS Bank shorter term charts on the daily basis, the long signal was issued at 26.44 on the 25th of February, targeting 28.69, and we have exceeded that target, currently still bullish above the pivot of 28.20. So watch for this level, 28.20. A break of 28.20 will be a little bit of short-term weakness for it to test low levels. Otherwise, as of now, it is bullish on the short term. Looking at the Genting, all right, so the all-time high was at $2.35 on the 1st of November, 11 years ago in 2010. And currently it's trying its best to actually break out from the downtrend that started since the 1st of October 2018. All right, and it has hit a low of 51 cents during the pandemic drop, and currently it is staging a rebound. If it breaks the pivot of 90 cents, we will go for the next target at $1.02, which was the breakdown level 3 years ago, and then the next target will be $1.33. And for Genting on a short-term basis, this is your daily chart. The long signal was issued on the 11th of March this year. The target right now remains to be at 93 cents, and current long is at 90 cents. As long as we remain above this pivot of 88 cents and rebound, we should be able to test higher levels and break out from that long-term downtrend that started 3 years ago. So watch for this level, 88 cents for Genting, a rebound to test the highs. And the next stock on our list is J36, which is Jardine, which is listed as J36 on the STI, and you can see that the J36 has been on an uptrend since 2001. Actually quite a pretty nice chart as compared to the STI, and recently it has broken its downtrend that was started since 2020 in February after the pandemic dip. There's a long signal at 59.22 on the 8th of March. They're targeting $72, which is their all-time high. And for J36, on the shorter term basis, on the daily chart, there was a long signal at $54.23 with this beautiful breakout on the 8th of March, targeting 59.22 initially. It has hit this target, and currently the pivot to watch is 62.84 for any more further upside. Next fully uptrend stock that I would like to talk to you about is MAPLETRee. And MAPLETRee Commercial Trust, which is N2IU, is the first REIT that is exhibiting a multiple time frame uptrend. There was a long signal, or rather a short signal issued on the 2nd of March 2021 at $1.86. It touched the low of almost $1.40, and it is now still above the Ichimoku cloud, as you can see right here. And this is something that you should always take note of using the Ichimoku cloud, because whenever there is a bullish uptrend like what it is now for MAPLETREE since the past since 2012. Any dip should be bought above the Ichimoku cloud, and you can see right now it has recovered to $2.13 for the month of April, and the target that you want to look out for is $2.67 to the upside. And for Mapletree Commercial Trust on the daily charts, on the short term, there was a long signal at $2.13 on the 30th of March this year, and the target is 267 all-time highs, and the pivot is at $2.03 at the moment to support this particular uptrend to the upside. Next on the list of multiple uptrending stocks is OCBC Bank, which has helped the STI maintain its bullish footing. And if you do look at the charts of late, the downtrend that started in 2019 has been broken at this particular level at $11.49 on the 1st of March this year, and the target now is at $12.20. All right, that was the last high that was made 2 years back, and if we were able to break $12.20, currently we are closed at $11.95. If we can break $12.20, then we might be able to test $14.03, which is its all-time high that was made somewhere in 2017. And on a shorter term basis, on the daily chart, OCBC Bank long signal that was issued 5th of November last year prior to the US presidential elections. OCBC has been doing extremely well, maintaining above the super trend line all the way for almost 5 months right now, closed at $11.95, and it will continue its climb as long as the pivot point at $11.60 is held. Now let's look at the sets. For sets holding also quite a nice bullish picture since 2001. For 20 years, the stock has been on an uptrend, riding the Ichimoku cloud, and it broke the cloud during the pandemic, hit a low at about $2.50, and is currently trying its very best to break this particular downtrend at the $4.55 level. All right, so this was the level where it broke down, and it did break 455 for a while during this month of trading. And if it breaks 455, then we could see $5.85. So sets has been quite a good stock to hold for the long term based on how the charts look like over the past 20 years. And continuing with sets on the daily chart on a shorter term basis, the first long signal was actually issued in the 1st of October last year at a level of $2.95. The target was $4.55. It did hit very close to the target somewhere in December last year, and then it pulled back with a short signal right here, and right now it has bounced back up with another long signal at $4.05, targeting now $4.55. And moving forward, as I said, we have actually surpassed that target of $4.55 just at the beginning of April. It has pulled back to this level, and $4.25 is an important level to watch for it to bounce back up to retest $4.55 and get higher. So $4.25, keep a lookout for those who are trading or have positions in sets for it to break its long-term resistance at $4.55 to break that particular downtrend. Moving on to ST Engineering. All right, so ST Engineering is currently on a downtrend. However, during the pandemic, it managed to do a nice recovery from the lows of $2.80, and it has bounced back above the Ichimoku cloud, and that's why it's on an uptrend list. Okay, so it's above the cloud line. It's trying to build some traction right here and hitting the The target of 456 will really depend on the continuation on its short-term and its medium-term strength. So the target right now is 456. The good thing is that price action is above the Ichimoku cloud, and we should be able to hit a level of 456 if the shorter term and the medium term trend is still upward. So if you look at the shorter term charts, the day charts of the ST Engineering, we had a buy signal at $3.90, targeting 456. The current pivot point is at $3.84. We did, after the long, it did try to pull back and it bounced nicely above 384. And currently we'll see where this particular strength will take us and whether we can hit the target at 456. Otherwise, pivot of 384 is important. If we break this pivot, then we might have some weakness to the downside. SGX, interesting stock with an all-time high of $17.17. It's a very significant breakout on the 2nd of September, actually, in 2019. And SGX has been on a uptrend since. The initial target is $10.70, which we have recently closed at $10.35. And the pivot support is at $8.16. So what is good about SGX is that you do have some ways to go and a little bit of runway till the target of $17.17 based on the technical picture. So looking at the day charts of SGX, you can see it much clearer. Long signal at $9.03 on the 5th of November last year. Targeting 1070, we are almost there with a close of $10.35, and the pivot support is at $9.90. Now let's move on to the third bank in our coverage for today, and it's UOB Bank. And UOB Bank has a very nice structure, long-term since 1988. All right, so for almost 33 years, UOB Bank has been one of the most technical, competent charts to actually buy positions at the lows. All right, so if you were able to buy in during the 1997 Thai financial crisis, in Lehman in 2008, and during the flash crash Euro in 2016, and finally the pandemic lows at about $17, you will have been well rewarded all the way up for the past 30 years, all right? And if you actually close in on the latest action, we have actually had a long signal, broken the downtrend that was started since 2020. Last year, during the pandemic dip that hit almost $17, we have rebounded nicely, and currently long signal at 25.80, starting a new uptrend with a target of 27.93, which was the last high that we made in 2019, and hopefully the all-time highs at $30.34 in 2018. All right, that's for UOB Bank if the shorter-term charts continue its bullish momentum. So using technical analysis, you can see that the long signal was actually issued in 5th of November last year. The level to go long was at $20.18, targeting $25.65, and we are almost there. And the chart is pretty bullish on the dailies, holding the super trend support all the way on its climb up. And currently the pivot point is at $25.48 is the pivot point to watch for UOB Bank to continue reaching new highs, and a break of 25.48 may see some weakness. Otherwise, we will see UOB Bank testing higher levels from here onwards. Next item on our list is United Overseas Land. United Overseas Land started from $1, is currently closed at $7.85, and during the last year, it actually broke its uptrend, and however, it has start to resume its climb upwards, and once again trying to test the $8.56 level to go back to its all-time highs at about $9.50. All right, so it's on an uptrend because it is still above the Ichimoku cloud line. All right, so it has a chance to actually test and break the super trend short signal at $8.56. And if you look at the day charts of United Overseas Land, or UOL, there was a long signal that was issued on the 9th of November last year. It did pull back a little bit, and thereafter it resumed its uptrend on the 19th of March at the level of $7.65, and the current pivot support is $7.60 to the upside. SEMBCORP Industrial, or U96 on the on the STI. SEMBCORP Industrial had a long signal at $1.15 on the 1st of September last year. The target is $2.08, and it's almost on target, and $2.08 was the breakdown target almost 11 years ago. And current pivot support is at $1.30, and should be able to hit the level of $2.08 if the shorter term and the medium term charts are supportive. It closed at 194 as of this month, April 2021. So looking at the day charts of SEMBCORP Industrial, you can see that the long signal was issued at the level of $1.73 on the 25th of February this year, target at 208, and we are almost there with pivot support at $1.84. So as long as 184 holds, we should be able to make higher levels and recover from its pandemic levels. And finally, the last stock that I would like to highlight to you in this recap for the Straits Times Index components is Venture Corp. All right, so for Venture, as you can see, the pivot is at 2150, and that's where the Venture more or less broke down way back in 2018, formed two lows somewhere around the $12 level. And it has since recovered, and more importantly, recovered above the Ichimoku cloud line. And as it approaches 2150, if it breaks, it may be able to hit its last high at 2965. That was made in 2017, 4 years ago. And looking at the day charts, you can see that the initial long signal was issued on the 22nd of June last year after the pandemic drop, where it hit about $12.40. It has since made some recent highs at about the $21 level, formed a base from August all the way to April this year for almost 7 to 8 months now. And maybe this particular breakout here, which is at a level of $19.96, may be able to break its target of 2150 and break out from this range and move on to the upside. The pivot now is at $19.81. So in closing, the Straits Times Index is now on a multiple bullish uptrend for the long, medium, and short term. And I've discussed all the uptrending stocks based on the STI metrics that can be found on my blog. So please visit my website to see updated levels from the Straits Times Index, as well as my next video that will be covering the S&P 500, which I follow every week as well. All right, so please click like and subscribe and send me some comments so that it will be more meaningful for you in the future for my videos. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and have a great weekend.